Alright, stream is on. I'm gonna go grab the tablet so I can watch the chat. Tablet's still coming up. APR still hasn't noticed me. Got you, buddy. I got you. Aren't you handsome? Now APR sees me. Oop, you're snagged. I can't reach to unsnag you. There you go. Okay. You want to be a lap kitty? You can be a lap kitty. Oh, you're snagged again. There you go. Oh, come on, buddy. Why don't you get comfy? Oh, nope, nope. That's my keyboard. Ow, ow. Whoa, cats. Alright, well. Anyway. Hello, Internet. It is 3:37 p.m. on Friday, July 3rd, 2020. I'm Mark Amsray, DJ Amstrack, and I'm holding court. That's Daniel. He's eating pizza. Clearly. He's off of work today.
Just got up.
He just got up. Not that I got up that long ago myself. Else I would have started stream earlier. Anyway, today I'm going to be continuing Valhalla, Cyberpunk Bartender action. Last couple days have been kind of heavy, but yesterday was definitely... Yesterday felt like a step in the right direction. Story-wise. Like, yesterday felt like the beginning of recovering, kinda, for Jill. And everybody's just so... all the characters are just being so awesome to her, and it's nice. And I like it. It gives me warm fuzzies and makes me like them. So, Steam wasn't up. Oops.
Dana is just the best.
Say what?
Especially Dana is just the best.
Yeah, Dana's kind of awesome. She's a very good boss and friend. Hey, wait a second. can't afford that right now, but noticing that one of the featured deals right now on the Steam Summer Sale is for Total War 3 Kingdoms. That sounds like a thing that would be right up my alley. Although, actually, you know, I've not ever played one of the Total War games. Like, by reputation, I feel like I would enjoy them, but I haven't actually played them.
Isn't that where you, like, burn everything as you go?
What?
Isn't that where you burn everything as you go, like Atlanta?
Atlanta, Total War.
Atlanta, Atlanta, what a pretty sight. The fire keeps Atlanta burning bright. And of course joking about General Sherman.
Mm-hmm. Want one? Are you really offering a little girl a cigarette? Now you're a little girl? I always am. Innocence, however, is another matter entirely. But anyway, thanks, no. Smoking seriously messes with my air filters, and they're a hassle to replace. Don't mind me, though. Smoke to your heart's content. Thanks. So, why don't you tell me about this guardian of yours? I want to know what kind of woman she is. Sure. Well, her name is Sophia Graham. Graham? She's a retired PE teacher. Nowadays, she works at a gym during the morning shift. She's pretty fit, if I do say so myself. She had a daughter. Apparently, she suffered from nanomachine rejection all of her life. And when she finally healed, she was hit by a truck. What was her daughter's name? I don't know. I never asked, really. Are you okay? I'm reading fear. Or is that surprise? It's hard to tell. Meow. Meow. Do you want in the window, Remy? She sure does. I'm fine, yeah. Wait, read? Well, I don't see emotions like you do. I have to make do with a combination of body heat readings, face recognition, and context. I'm still a bit confused about some, but I've gotten better with time. Anyway, you sure you're fine? Yeah. Scared or surprised? She's not wrong, though. Wait, does that mean your last name isn't really Hayes? Hayes is just my artistic name. Sounds more exotic, and that's what people usually look for in this business. I tried other names, though. Dolores Hayes, Genesis Graham. I tried Dorothy Warrior once, but a legal team came out of nowhere and stopped me cold. So, what's your legal name, then? Rebecca Dorothy Willow Graham. Bit of a mouthful, if you ask me. So, Dorothy's actually your second name. Should I call you something like Becky, then? People have always called me Dorothy rather than Rebecca for some reason. That's why I chose it. It's useful, too. People have tried to falsify stuff using my name, and they always get caught. Because they use Dorothy Hayes as their name? Yep. Only my mom, guardian, calls me Rebecca, so it's weird to hear it from others. What about Willow? Willow's my first surname, actually. When I got registered, my guardian was married to a guy who had Willow as a last name. Shortly after I joined their household, they separated, so I was left with his family name first. Hold on, so your really name in short would be Rebecca Willow. Doesn't have the same pizzazz to it, if you ask me. Whatever you say, Becky. Stop it. It'd be like if I called you Julianne all of a sudden.
Julianne Stingray.
Well, that was anger I just read now. Lots of anger. I think it's weird enough already if you call me Jill instead of Honey. Weird, huh? How you can end up feeling associated with a name that's not yours? I have an uncle that always called me Tina. He kept calling my cousin Tina Jill for some reason. Neither of us mind it, though, because he's calling us what he thinks we're called instead of mixing us up. That, and it's completely useless to try and correct him. But, you know, maybe that effect is true for your clients, too. How so? Well, you're worried about your clients not hiring you because you're you, right? But think about what happens when it's announced that a character will be played by a different actor. Sure, it's a character, but people are also going for the actor playing the character. So you're saying they go for my roleplay instead of just mere roleplay? Sounds too far-fetched? Sounds plausible, actually. Okay, honey, I'll take my leave now. Don't want to take up all of your break. Thanks for the chat. See you at the party tomorrow. Bye. I need to remember to buy more cigars.
Cigars?
Cigars? I guess for the party? Special occasion?
I guess. I didn't know Jill had any cigars.
Back. Did I miss something? Unless you count the worst PPV main event fight I've seen all year, not really, no. Not really, no. Alright. I was stuck in the Dorothy voice. Not that I have a lot of female voices, mind you. And none of them are all that good. And Dana and Dorothy are kind of a little close together already. Like, they feel different coming out of my mouth, but they don't feel that different. I'll have a word with Go-Go outside. He was so hyped for that match. He must be devastated. Okay. Welcome to Valhalla. Oh, hi, Say. Good evening, Jill. How are you doing? The nightmares have stopped, so I'm sleeping better. How about your injuries? Oh, my bones are healing nicely. My wound's finally closed. The scars itch a bit, though. Well, that's good to hear. Are you by yourself today? Yeah, I'm running a couple of errands by myself today, but I wanted to come here for a while. I also noticed the big guy from last time is outside. Buster? Stella doesn't want me being alone while I'm still healing, so she suggested taking him with me. Ah, I see. What can I get you? Something cold. Sure. Here. Yeah, this is the one. Why drink something cold when the weather outside is so cold, too? It's not that cold, actually. But I've always had decent tolerance for the cold, so I'm not a good reference. So, Stella isn't with you today? She's throwing a mega Christmas party tomorrow and is having a meeting today. I'm just helping her by checking on some of the things she ordered. here I was, all ready to invite you to the party we're throwing tomorrow. You're throwing a party too? Sorry about that. Can't really say no to Stella. Maybe next time? If there's a next time at all. Don't worry about it. It's not a big deal. I want you to know that I want you to have a good time. Have fun. Drink a couple of beers in our honor. I will then. What are Stella's Christmas parties like? They're really big. There's lots of food and drinks and music. Sometimes there's too much food, though. So at the end of the party, she lets the staff take home whatever's left. She also buys toys for all the children of her staff members. Really? She says something about taxes or whatever, but during the whole thing, she just shines. She carries a beaming smile that I don't see any other day of the year. Many of the kids have even started calling her Auntie Ella. Stella always does her best to put up a tough girl facade, but she's very much in touch with her inner child. Christmas, Easter, Halloween, name a party and she most likely celebrates it big. Interesting. Do you like parties, Jill? I don't mind them. They're a good place to see people. I'm not one to actively look for parties to attend, though. I just don't mind going to them. Ah, I see. I only go to parties that Stella is attending, because otherwise I'd just stand there without anything to say. That and I'm not one to wear dresses, you know. You're not? I'm a tad too ripped. They don't look cute on me. Although with all this healing I have to do, I won't be as fit for a while. They're too, breezy, too. I feel like I'm wearing nothing. But I bet you'd look good in a dress, Jill. It's been years since I last wore one. I wouldn't know. Last time I wore one, I remember worrying my arms were too thin or something like that. Now we all have a complex, huh? I mean, even Stella has her own. That's hard to imagine. Oh, but she does have one. She distresses a lot about her bust size. Really? She's not that small. I think I'm smaller than her, in fact. Actually, it's the opposite. The opposite kind of complex, I mean. She's a bit self-conscious about having a big chest. Really? Again, I've seen bigger chests than hers, to be honest. Although I guess comparisons are useless here. They rarely help with complexes. Well, she does go the extra mile to hide it. In fact, I have no idea how she does it. I mean, I've seen her before and after she tucks them away, but I guess I never cared enough to ask the specifics. That's also why when she goes out, she styles her hair in those, drills? They look a bit drilly, don't they? She styles her hair like that to help divert attention away from her chest. She seems affluent enough. Why not go through a reduction surgery? Because she also kind of likes having that size. She takes her bust size after her mom, and Miss Carmine is quite proud of her chest. Puffing out your chest is a sign of confidence, and a bigger chest means more confidence to show. She says something along those lines a lot. Stella has quite the admiration for her mom, so I guess breast reduction would feel like betraying her? Oh? What's the screenshot on the notification? Aww.
Aw, damn it.
Huh. I'm making it sound like she's hiding J-cups or something like that. I guess in a taller or thicker person, her size would be normal. She's just a bit shorter or thinner than the norm. Do you get self-conscious about your bust size, Jill? Not really. I've been more self-conscious about my height. Although it usually comes up whenever not being average height hinders me somehow. What about you? Yes and no? It's not my bust size, but rather that I look too manly sometimes. And I can't help but wonder if bigger boobs would help with that. You're fine, don't worry. Thank you. Can I get you anything else? Do you have something non-alcoholic? I do. Give me a sec. Here. Thanks. You're not one to drink that much alcohol, are you? It makes me feel sleepy, or at the very least makes my legs go numb. It's an annoying feeling, to be honest. It makes me wonder what's so good about getting drunk. I mean, I'm not above it, but it's not exactly a pleasant feeling. You feel like you're sleepy even when you're not. Your legs go numb, everything starts sounding funnier than it really is. What's so good about not being able to control yourself? That's a good question, actually. Usually people like feeling numb because that numbness helps them forget their problems. Even if we don't talk about alcohol, there's a portion of people that can't afford food. Or who are suffering from some pain that only alleviates when drunk or high. It doesn't sound really logical on paper, but then again, humans are rarely, if ever, logical creatures. Despair and pain cloud your judgment and make you do stupid things sometimes. Yeah, I've seen that firsthand. This world has an ugly side nobody deserves to be a part of. There's also a matter of addiction, you know? You start just liking a drink, but then you need more of it, and before you know it, you're hooked. Oh yeah, that too. So tell me, what kind of party are you guys throwing? Oh, nothing fancy. It'll just be me, Boss, Gil, and a couple of regulars. They'll bring food, we'll chat for a while, and that's it. Man, that sounds so good. At least better than the whole planning madness Stella's throwing right now. If you ever throw something like that again, you let me know, you hear? Sure. Hey, say. Yeah? What do you plan on doing now? I'm gonna check one last errand before going home. No, I mean, what do you plan on doing now with the White Knights disbanded and all? To be honest, I don't know. I never prepared a plan B because I figured if you can go with a plan B, why not just make it the plan A? I'm not the brightest person, so I never graduated from college or even high school. I could go for a position with the police, but it wouldn't be as thrilling. And I'm tired of blatant corruption. Sick of it. Oh. But I'm alive. I learned something after that hell in Apollo Trust. Life is not something that you can just throw away easily. Clawing my way out of that place made me realize just how much I want to be alive. The body count left in the bank was ridiculous, but I'm still here. I don't know what I'll do, but I'm alive. I'll figure it out sooner or later. That's nice to know. Well, I gotta go. Bye, Jill. Good luck with the party. Please come again. Welcome to Valhalla. Oh, hi, Mr. Detective. Ah. Hey there, girl. Give me a strong drink, won't you? All right. Here you go. Yes, this'll do. So, what brought you here? Nothing special. I was just working on a case and I happened to be in the area. What kind of work? Tracking someone. A gun for hire. What about the girl? Crimson something. I am tracking that girl. Didn't you just get out of that job? I did, but the guy offered a huge amount of money and, well, I just couldn't refuse again. Well, it's your life, not mine. I wonder, though, there has to be more to that whole thing than just acting as middleman to look for some murderer. Say, how safe is this place? We're protected by the BTC property laws, the walls are soundproof, and I really couldn't give less of a shit about selling info to anyone. Okay, then. Wait, soundproof walls? Why? Did you see those vending machines outside? They're quite talkative, the bastards. It'd be annoying without those walls. Alright, then. Have you heard of Lord Lance Lavender? Nope. He's some big name from Kanyevania. His blood apparently has some weird reaction to Glitch City's nanomachines. Once in contact with the air, it does nothing. But if still fresh and touching someone's blood, the nanomachines will initiate a reaction. Essentially, they'll just eat through the other person's body until there's nothing left. They're using him as a guinea pig to see what causes that reaction and if it could be used to fight nanomachine rejection. Well, turns out the Crimson Rose is his daughter. She left years ago to earn her living here, and he hasn't seen her ever since. He could be lying, you know. Doubt it. I did my research. She really is his daughter. Why didn't you figure that out earlier? I had no clue who was making the contract, and tracking all the messages to the source would have been too costly. Knowing who the sender was made things easier. Yeah, I see. Can I get you anything else? What about a cobalt velvet? Okay. Here you are. Oh, you actually did it. Were you expecting me to mess up so you didn't have to pay? No. So what made you accept the contract anyway? Keeping in mind all of the risks you told me last time. Yeah, he told me he wanted to see her again one last time, or at the very least, deliver her a message. He could have been lying. Yes, people lie. Yes, people lie. You made your point. Even then, I felt like I couldn't say no. I mean, I know what it's like not being able to find your daughter. What it's like to be apart from her, not knowing what she's doing or even if she's alright. You do? I have a daughter. She's about your age. When she was a teen, we had a big fight and she ran away from home. At first I just waited for her to show up, but then I started getting worried and went out to find her. I couldn't find any trace of her. Nobody had seen her. Soon I was worried if something might have happened to her. I guess that's how my tracking skills and list of contacts began to grow. I finally found her, taking cover in some dumpster, unconscious from starvation. So yeah, I just couldn't say no to his request of finding his daughter. But I don't expect you to understand. So how's the search going? I'm very close to finding her. That girl's pretty good at covering her tracks. Compared to the her before the bank incident, though, she seems slower somehow. Either she's let her guard down, or something else is happening. What will you do when you find her? I have this letter I'm supposed to deliver to her. I don't know what it says, and I don't want to find out. What if she tries to kill you? I might not look like it, but I can take care of myself, Bartender. You don't stay so long in this business without picking up a couple of tricks. Yeah, I guess you're right. Okay, I better go back to work before her trail goes cold. Please come again. Are you done? Yeah. Okay then. I want you here tomorrow at 8 p.m. No working beforehand. The bar will be closed tomorrow. Come dressed in your absolute best. We're having a party after all. Alright. Where's Gil, by the way? He stored all of our things in his home because of how close it was to the stores. So I told him to go home already and bring the stuff tomorrow. I see. Well, see you tomorrow, boss. Hold on, wait a bit and I'll go with you. Oh, sure, thanks. Merry Mega Christmas. Let us celebrate Santa's resurrection as the Mega Santa that saved Christmas from the Redmonds. Redmonds?
What, Microsoft tried to destroy Christmas once?
I guess?
Santa's resurrection. Wow.
Mm-hmm.
They're conflating some stuff.
Not just, I mean, they're conflating holidays, even. Because Easter is the resurrection one. Anyway. Party then? We'll bring you leftovers. Yuru Yuri is the best show this season. If you weren't a fan of Yuri or Slice of Life shows already, then be prepared to join the Moe Church this season with the premiere of Yuru Yuri, one of the funniest shows I've seen in recent years. The pals at the popular Danger U forum seem to be divided, however. This is such an obvious pandering. An obvious pandering? Remember when anime was about women doing womanly things and beating the shit out of each other? What is this trash? You girls are just haters who hate their lives. I'm going to marry Sheena too. Wake me up inside, can't wake up. Wait, sorry. You can catch YY every Friday on RSTV. Want to watch it? Anime is for nerds.
Is that a reference to the actual show You're
Probably. Is it sexist to have an army of robot women? The ones without artificial intelligence, mind you. The King of the West, Khan J, from the western nation of Kanye-vania, has approximately 6,000 robot soldiers, all of whom look like the hottest girls around. But is this show of quirkiness from the wacky dictator problematic? Those dictators from Venezuela or whatever just do what they want. They don't give a shit, Mariana Zimmer, 35, told the Augmented Eye during a street interview. They're all pretty hot, though. If I was him, I'd have done the same. Why bother with the real thing when you just make them from scratch to match your every needs? More as we investigate. Update 2, Lilim receiving mysterious messages. The messages have suddenly stopped and everything is normal again. Still, we can't stop wondering what's the deal. Was it a prankster, or someone who just discovered how to subvert public communication channels in Lilim? Either way, some reports indicate that Lilim behavior has been rather unusual as of late, although we can only imagine the confusion they were going through. Not the first time. Let's not forget that something similar happened 5 years ago when Lilim advancement was at its historic high. Fortunately, nothing came out of it. Will it happen again? Time will tell. Spooky. A bit, yeah. Mega Christmas is here. I'm way too used to Christmas, but the mega tradition here in Glitch City is mega comfy. I know it's an incredibly absurd name, and the holiday isn't any less crazy due to its origin, but I find it amazing how GC managed to replace the original festivities. Some places celebrate Christmas eating fried chicken, but here they outright changed the holiday. Well, it's not that different considering they have the same dates, but still pretty cool. Well, I gotta go. Time to sign some books. Merry Mega Christmas. Was it Mega Christmas or Mega Christmas? Don't know, don't care. Sunday, December 25th. Good evening. Jill, I told you to come in the nicest clothes you have. You came in your uniform. These are the nicest clothes I have with me. Besides, you and Gil are in your uniforms too. Well, I can't really show up in casual clothing. I'm being monitored. What about the kilt you wore that one time? I'm still surprised that one didn't break the dress code somehow. And you, Gil? I don't have that many clothes to begin with. You people depress me. Well, everything's in place back there. Ah, Alma's here. You know, there was a time when people greeted others before saying stuff like that. Come on, Jill, greet her properly. Welcome to Valhalla. Wait. Man, if that's not a sign that you need to ease up on the work, I don't know what is. Shut up. It's become a reflex. Wait, Alma also came in her usual attire. Why aren't you saying anything to her? Ribbed sweaters get a free pass. Why? Silly question, never mind. Jamie came earlier too. The dogs went with him to get some ice. Don't we have ice? Trying to take it out of the bartending station is a chore, so it's better to buy some outside. Huh. What were you doing back there, Alma? Setting up the food warmer. The what? I bought it 3 days ago. It's amazing. It looks like just a set of wires, but you can create a frame with them. Put the food inside it, press a button, and watch as it warms the food up just like a microwave. It's an infomercial bauble, though. Really useful, but tricky to handle at the same time. One wrong move and we'll be out of food for the night. Everything will be scorched in a second. Oh. So you've bought infomercial stuff too? Haven't you? It's at the very least a good idea for gifts. Well... Dynamic entry! Finally, at least somebody came after me. Is it weird that I've already heard that 3 times in the last hour? Oh, don't be like that. She's not saying it out of malice or anything, she just found it funny. You're taking her side now? Jealous? You wish. You don't need to fight for me. We're not. I'll go check the microwave wires thingy. I'm starting to get hungry. Great idea! Back. Oh. Ah, hello, Jill. Soldier! You're late! Hey, Jay! See? That's how you greet people. You shut it. I'll go help out, I'll go help Sweater Pups. Something wrong? She's not good with dogs. Oh. Alright, we're all here, so we can start. Yo, Anchorage! Alma. I know what I said. How's the food doing? It's doing well, but it'll take a bit. Can't you speed it up? I've used those microwave wire things before. It's either warm nicely but slowly, or burn that bitch. So, how long? 15 minutes or so. A bell will ring when the time comes. We need to kill some time then. Alright, let's play Truth or Dare. What? I'll pass. Games are for kids. I'm in. Sure, I'll play. Sounds fun. As long as that mutt stays away from me. That'll make the time pass faster. You'll play. Oh boy. Alright then, rules are simple. If you get picked, you pick either Truth or Dare. After you finish, you get to pick somebody else. We go like that until food's done. What about punishment games? Those are a hassle. Just issue new questions or challenges until the other person complies. That said, Jill. Yes? You start. Pick someone. Oh, let's see. Alma. Let's go with Truth. What's the most uncomfortable thing that has happened to those arms of yours? Uncomfortable. They get stuck a lot on clothes and fibers. Sometimes the joints get jammed with cloth. Just how much of those arms are mechanical, anyway? Less than you think. The only things I truly lost were my hands. The arm muscles are still mine, albeit with some enhancements. And my skin doesn't grow on them, they're covered by the plates. It's more an enhancement than a replacement, really. Huh. Well then. Hey boss. Me? Truth or Dare? Dare me. I dare you. Use an Argentine backbreaker on Nick. Surely. Nick! Wah! I give! Only after you answer this. What? Does the name Joseph Valentine ring any bells? I know of a Joseph Shine, but not Valentine. Joseph Shine. Alright then. I guess it's my turn. Hey Chief, can you drop me? Oh, right. Hey Jill, truth or dare? I'll pick dare. Pet the dog. Yeah, whatever. Come here, Mutt. Yes! Come on! Pet me harder! Is that all you've got? F you. Wonder how long until the food is done. Dorothy hasn't gotten to go yet. Dorothy. Yes, I picked dare. Okay, I want you to put your leg behind your head. Just that? Alright. So the extra flexible joints weren't just a bluff. I never bluff. I'm pretty sure I heard something rip, though. Okay then, Dana. I pick dare. I dare you to stare Honey straight in the eyes for 10 seconds. Sure. Please stop. 7 seconds. And done. Okay then, dog. Yes! Challenge me! Chase your tail, but only make 3 spins. No more, no less. Alright! Done! That was 4. And now? 2. 2. Ah! That was 3. Good job. Alright! Hey Jay, pick one. Dare. I dare you to call me a good boy. Good boy. Yes! I'm getting hungry. Gil. Well then, Gil, what do you pick? I'll go with dare. I dare you to eat this bell pepper. Truth! I meant truth! Eat the bell pepper! Eat it! 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 I'd rather not. Eat it or I'll make your life impossible next week. Eat it or I'll make your life impossible next week. Was that hard? Yes. Anyways, what do you pick, Alma? I pick truth. What's the most embarrassing thing that has happened to you while drunk? I almost bought a timeshare in Panama. Huh? What? Ha! I was on vacation with my family and family's friends. We went to a hotel where a couple of salesmen tried to coerce us into buying a timeshare. When I was sober, it was obvious bullshit. But then I fell into their trap with the free bar. Were it not for my brother-in-law, I'd be forever doomed to spend 1 week a year in Panama. You could just not go. And lose my money? Forget it. A bell? Food's ready. Finally. Let's go. You guys go ahead. I'll have a quick smoke outside. Careful. Truth or dare, huh? It was fun, I guess. Hey. Hello. A bit late for the hello, don't you think? Want one? You know I don't smoke. True. Are you leaving already? Yeah, technically we celebrated Mega Christmas yesterday. But I just got a message that Diana is making a ruckus, so I gotta leave. Good luck with that. Speaking of ruckus, how have you been doing? Fine, I guess. All of this has helped keep my mind off things for a while. Is it weird to feel the absence of someone you had no contact with whatsoever for the last 3 years? Ask Katusha or any of the old literature maidens whose spouse went to war types. I mean, even if you had no contact with her, maybe she was constantly on your mind. If you tweak the circumstances, it's not that different from one of you going to a war. I guess. Well, although the circumstances make me not want to, I've gotta go. Careful out there. Oh yeah, you should take the chance and spend this time with everyone inside, don't you think? Yeah, she's right. Hey, Jill's back!
Someone need to clean the room.
Chapter 3, Dulce. Rent is due on the 30th. Please make sure your account has the necessary $10,000 or you'll be evicted. Jill wants to see if the Alex doll's beard actually grows. Buying it will prevent her from getting too distracted. Ugh. You've been using that hoodie a lot lately. Shut up. At least it's cheap. Jill bought what she wanted and she's pleased with herself. She will surely focus at work. I think I remember that one. Model Warrior returns to TV. Anyone watching it? I don't even have a TV. So useless. Julianne is old and busted. I heard you talking shit about my waifu like I wouldn't find out. Is it going to be censored? I don't think so. The show was rather tame as far as I know. I'm gonna marry Julianne. Oh man, I remember watching this show back when I was like 10. I think I discovered porn thanks to it. You will never discover Rule 34 for the first time again. I keep trying. Never seen this show before. Is it any good or is it just a meme? Yeah, it's a meme show. There's nothing outstanding. What about the sequels? Are those going to be broadcasted as well? The sequels are shit. Is your lip trembling? No. Street race at the Motor City District leaves 2 dead. The Motor City District is notorious for the number of illegal street races it sees each week, and the dozens of injured drivers it leaves every year. This time it has been reported that 2 people died during a race hosted at the Gate Highway, otherwise known as the Death Lane. The Transit Police is currently investigating the deaths, as well as the underground world of illegal street racing. We have several suspects in regards to who is running this underworld, but nothing concrete as of yet, Chief of the Transit Police Department, Jay Esposito, told the Augmented Eye. The death of these 2 youngsters will be the last, however, that's a promise. I've heard there's a defamation campaign against the district, though. You won't believe what happens in this cartoon.
Play Esposito.
Cartoons are not for children. They're still largely colorful, but the themes they touch have become rather dark. In fact, every cartoon on air today has dark themes. It's come to the point where innocent animated characters are no longer a thing. I suppose children are young adults from birth now. But enter Touch Fluffy Tale, a new show that aims to challenge the current trend. No deep lore, no obscure adult references, no stupid deep plots, just fun with numbers and fluffy tales, said a TFT producer who asked to remain anonymous to avoid internet backlash. I don't want death threats for making a cartoon for actual kids. Stop. I rescued you. I touch your tail if I wanna. Glitch City Olympics return next year. For the 10th consecutive year, the GC Olympics returns to the emblematic Super Silver Thunderdome, this time with a representative from the elusive country of Kanye-vania. Prime Minister Quincy, who is in charge of the committee, told the Augmented Eye that it wasn't easy getting in touch with Kanye, and that we had to abide by some of his religious rules in order to see some of their best competitors come to the country. Kanye-Vania's main religion, Kanyeism, prohibits the existence of nanomachines inside the body, and as such, competitors from said country had to perform specific treatments in order to repel the swarm. It's a temporary solution, but it will do the trick. I'm guessing tacky bodysuits weren't practical for sports.
Repel the swarm, so that everybody who comes to Glitch City gets invaded by nanomachines.
Apparently.
Just immediately.
They're an air pollutant, basically.
Some people's immune systems are like, oh, F this. And that's how you get nanomachine injection.
Mm-hmm. Good evening. Hey, Jill. Gil is in the back sorting an ingredients shipment, and I've got things to do. The dog's in charge, okay? Bye. What? Wait, the dog what? Okay, first order, pet me. No. Pet me. No. I'm in charge and I want you to pet me.
Jill, pet the dog or he'll tell Dana you didn't pet him.
Time to mix drinks and change lives. Hey, Jay! Won't pet you. You'll pet me sooner or later. They all do. Won't. Will. You called? He said Will, not Gil. Ah. Who the hell is Will? Nobody. Don't be rude with poor Will. There's no Will. Do you need me to psych you up then? Shut up! Who, me or Will? Ah! You go back to whatever you were doing. Alright. And you, stand by.
Who the crap is on first?
Only if you pet me. Go! Meow. I don't think Remy likes my Rad Sheba voice. They have just happened. Well, aren't we spirited today? Welcome to Valhalla. Virgilio? Why do you sound so weirded out? You didn't show up with a bombastic soliloquy. Well, putting up an act can be tiring, you know. So it's all an act, then? Wasn't it obvious? I guess. Would you mind getting me a Bleeding Jane? Sure. Meow. A Bleeding Jane. Yes, this is just the thing. So, tired of putting on an act? Care to explain? It's a long story, and I'd honestly rather not talk about it right now. Fair enough. What made you change your mind, though? Well, for one thing, it's safer for me now. The Pompous Buffoon Act was mostly a way to avoid raising suspicion. Safer? There's a word that's been losing meaning lately. Wait, that was your way of avoiding suspicion? Yes. You do know how weird that sounds, right? It sounds weird? You try not to raise suspicion, but you act in a bombastic manner that screams you're there. And everyone dismisses the fool as a buffoon and moves on. Eh? I mean, you might be right if I were talking about hiding myself. But I'm avoiding certain crowds of people. Yes, my behavior might call everyone's attention, But then everyone just decides I'm harmless and disregards me. And depending on how erratic my actions are, I become harder to read, giving me yet another layer of enigma. Well, congrats! No offense, but I fell right into your plan. I just dismissed your actions as those of a fool and moved on. You completely fooled me. Thanks. Say, can you give me something spicy? Sure.
He's much easier to put up with this way.
Here. Aren't you fascinated by spiciness? What's spicy for humans might not be spicy for other animals. Hell, what's toxic for us might not be for other creatures. Do you like spicy things, Bartender? I don't mind them, I guess, but I'm not really a fan. That neutral stance is actually weird to come across. Everyone either loves spicy things or hates them with passion. Do you like it? Lots. Not only in regards to painfully spicy things, but also the way mild or slight spice adds to a meal. I've always had this dream of opening a curry stand. Meow.
Kitty cam.
What is it, Remy? As things are, I might actually pursue that dream. Let me know if you do. I haven't had curry in ages now. Hey, Bartender. Call me Jill. I wanted to apologize. You put up with me all this time without lashing out. I should apologize for my behavior, and thank you at that. Don't worry, I actually feel like I was too rude to you last time you came. Granted, you came at a really bad time, but I should be the one apologizing. You're a client, after all. Well, don't. I'm actually surprised that nobody else had violently lashed out at me yet. You're making me curious as to who you really are, though. Is Virgilio even your real name? It might be, it might not. Sometimes I wonder if I'm a magnet for people who hide their identities in sordid pasts. Yes, Remy? Meow. Meow.
She needs food.
Okay.
You know, this week?
It's not that. She might want brushes, though. She might want brushes.
Okay.
And I do need more drink, so I will be right back. Yep, I think that's exactly what she wanted.
Itchy BC. Jericho!
Gil, Jamie, you... did you say something? Just rambling. Pay me no mind. Now that I think about it, how did you find this bar? I was avoiding some chaps and came to this alley. Huh. Again. Again? In my time here, I've heard avoided people and ended up here enough times to make me believe that the original owner built the bar here thinking about the runaway public. You make me sound like a criminal. You're not helping. The expression runaway doesn't just mean people escaping the law, though. We've had people avoiding stalkers or solicitors. I've seen people more shocked by an insistent salesman than a shady figure. Maybe because the salesman is a more active predator? I don't know. A troublesome part of the city right near the shopping district. Let them know there's a bar and they'll come. Sorry, I should stop rambling to myself so much. Oh, I don't mind. Do you think I'm sort of criminal, though? Well, like I said, you're not helping. But for all I know, you might be the buffoon I've seen the other days. In any case, can I get something bitter here? On it. Here. This works. Do you like coffee, Miss Bartender? As weird as it may sound from a smoking bartender, no, I don't. Well, I get it. It's not for everyone. That cat boomer the other day. What about her? Still scared of her? Not really, but she looks so familiar. Maybe you're mixing her up with another cat boomer. No, that's not it. It's like the bandaged girl last time. Even with the bandages, there's just something really familiar about her. Maybe you need to stop thinking about it. Answers usually come to you when you stop stressing out. You might be right. Well, I leave you for now, bartender. Thanks for everything. Please come again. Welcome to Valhalla. Oh, hello, Mr. Detective. Here we are, another mute person wandering into the bar. Anything I can get you? Gut punch. Okay.
Yeah, keep this soft. It's really annoying.
Here. Oh, you got it right. So, what's up now?
She attacked my phone for some reason.
She what?
She attacked my phone for some reason. She's like down on the couch and is like, eh. So I was picking up her fur.
A bit of holiday blues, you could say. So, you celebrate Mega Christmas? Why wouldn't I? You looked more like a Festivus kind of guy. Yes. See, George Costanza.
Set up that poll and air your grievances.
Mm-hmm. Why does everyone keep saying that? Well, Festivus is a celebration going against the capitalist madness that is Mega Christmas. And, you know, cheapskate. If you have something to say it. I'll refrain. Although, now that I think about it, Holiday Blues is not really tied to a specific celebration. Just the season. A season of consumerist craze. Mega Christmas is just a mockery of what the real Christmas once was. I mean, the season has slowly become enslaved to the corporations over time. Holiday spirit can only be manipulated so much. But then came that Turbo Male guy. He started a yearly tradition of dressing up like Santa in the ring. Turbo Male? That can't be his ring name. It is. Really? Such a tacky name was accepted? His partner was Buster Master, and his rival was Dr. Chris Max. Tacky names were not a problem. I mean, I knew there was a wrestler that dressed as Santa every year. I also knew that the guy became insanely popular and that the stunt got out of control. And of course, that's the part everyone sings about. Santa became Nega Santa thanks to the Redmond family. Nega Santa sees the error of his ways and becomes the mighty Mega Santa, renaming the holiday Mega Christmas. And then every company jumped on the bandwagon and Christmas was Mega Christmas before anyone noticed. So, you're telling me that the guy who somehow managed to rename the holiday went by the ring name Turbo Male? Yup. That makes the whole holiday sound like a joke. The holiday is a joke. And you're telling me you don't celebrate Festivus? No, I don't. Do you know what kind of people celebrate Festivus? The kind that's so lame and bland that they can only talk about how they're better because they celebrate Festivus. Like those jerks who only eat Nuke and think they're better than everyone else. I see. Anything else I can get you? Give me a fringe weaver, will you? Sure. Here. Right, thanks. So, any issues with the city lately? What's the word on the street? Shouldn't I be asking that? There's nothing new, really. Something on the screen. The lynchings of White Knights stopped, so there's that. Really? Something about the armor. I haven't gotten much on that one yet. All in all, the madness following the attack on the bank seems to have settled down a bit. That's good to hear. Have any other details about the attack emerged yet? All records of whatever happened there have been long deleted. Security cams, system logs, everything was wiped. Whatever happened there, it's become even more of a mystery now. I wonder if Say plans on testifying. Does anyone know if Say went there in the first place? Maybe the wiping of everything actually protects her somehow. Hey, bartender, you okay? Sorry, got distracted. Yeah, there's not much to say, really. There's the odd silly rumor here and there, like the vending machine's tasers malfunctioning and applying more strength. Or that the writer of The Last Rain in the World is actually living here as a brain in a jar. But those are the kind of rumors you hear from crackheads. Crackheads might hold that one last piece of info you need, but you also hear crap like that. I see. Anyway, I'm leaving. Happy New Year, bartender. Please come again. Okay then, but... No, wait, she's out. Gil, you there? Yeah? Taking your break?
Creeping suspicion that each of those crackhead stories is true.
Let me know if someone comes in.
Maybe it's just video game logic. Maybe it's just because we have a lot of other fragments as the audience.
Mm-hmm.
I think each and every one of those things we heard is 100% true. Because Glitch City is that screwed up.
Mm-hmm. Things are pretty quiet outside. The White Knights. There we go. Jill! What?
You know you're living in a weird dystopia when the vending machines have tasers.
Oh, you are softer.
Yep, I rigged you good.
Mm-hmm. Jill! Ah, Miss Kim. Just call me Kim. Sounds weird to be called Miss. You seem to be in a good mood. I got some money on Mega Christmas. Wouldn't you be happy? I guess. What can I get you? I'll have a beer. Okay. Let's get Kim a beer. Here. Thanks. So, how have you been doing? Pretty good, actually. My hair stopped falling out. My appetite is coming back. I hadn't realized just how much the newspaper was weighing on me until I quit. I suddenly stopped feeling defeated. I actually felt like I achieved a victory. Like I got a hold of my own life. So nice to hear. Oh yeah, I'll start bartender training in January too. Huh, really? Yeah, I did some research and it sounded cool. BTC gives you many benefits, so it sounds like a good thing to do for the time being. I don't know if it's what I want to do for the rest of my life, but it's a good start. It'll give me time to think on the next course of action. A bit of advice? Don't go for BTC housing plans unless you absolutely have to. You have to sign a contract for at least 5 years of service with a cut in pay and tips. I was going to go for that one, but I backed down a bit at the last minute. How do you back down a bit? Well, I took the chance when the BTC found me an apartment, and instead of signing the BTC contract, I just asked for a regular one. I still have no idea how I got away with that one. I thought those apartments were built by them or something. Back in England they are. They have their own real estate companies. Apartment complexes where they have the means to give discounted rooms to employees. But in this city, Realty Nua holds an unspoken real estate monopoly. So BTC can't easily offer such promises. Oh. Realty Nua is a bit weird as far as companies go. Their name has become synonymous with quality, a brand built around certain expectations. But the truth is that Realty Nua has done little to no work in the last 10 years or so. Associated with quality, done little to no work in the last 10 years or so? What does that sound like? What real estate company, does that sound like?
I have no idea.
Their CEO is sitting in the Oval Office.
You know, I don't know the name of that company.
Trump.
Surely there's another word in it.
Trump Real Estate.
Ah. Did you do much operation outside of New York in the first place?
Oh yeah!
Huh. Yeah, my brain just kind of goes to like Century 21. Something about growing up in Oklahoma, I'm sure. But yeah, apparently Trump Real Estate was always kind of a bit player in New York City, at least.
Mm-hmm.
Like, none of the big guys actually took him seriously.
Yeah. Really? I mean, when they started, they managed to sell and build upon plots of land that everyone gave up on. They became a big name as far as real estate goes. But in reality, the company itself has actually done less than you'd think over the years. Most of the time, they're cashing in on their established properties or letting others work with them. I believe in the last 10 years or so, they've only started around 3 or 4 new projects. And they're all expansions of their already established ones. You seem to know a lot about it. Nah, I've just read a lot about it over time, especially after hearing my landlord ramble about them. I think it's all par for the course for real estate companies, really. But it's true that when you hear a name so much, you expect something, I don't know, different. But enough rambling on my side. You must be thirsty. Can I get you anything else? Well, let's try a sugar rush. Okay. I feel like I've been serving them a lot lately. And let's be generous with the commentary. Not like overkill, but generous. Here you go. Yay! Actually, Jill, I came here today to thank you. Me? Yeah, back when I first showed up here, I was in a really rough spot. I was shocked, I was was tired. I was a total mess. I even said some really mean things, but you had patience with me. Not to mention you helped me cool down, and your boss saved me. And, I don't know, I felt like I had to tell you all that before the year ended. Much appreciated, thanks. But anyway, how are you doing? Last time you were a bit off. I'm better now, thanks a lot. Glad to hear. It was weird to see you like that. It always felt like you were putting up a cool bartender act. It did? You don't? I don't. Are you sure? What you saw as cool bartender act is what everyone else has described as being cold. I mean, cold and cool do mean the same, but... Nah, I don't try to put up that act. Sorry to disillusion you. I'm too much of a mess to do such a thing. Huh. Disappointed? Surprised, actually. What led me to believe that you were putting on an act? And more importantly, how can I make use of it when I get assigned to a bar? I must investigate further. Good luck with that. Say, let's try something bubbly now. Alright. What's bubbly? Type. Okay, those are... I haven't served frothy water yet, but I don't think she'd like that.
Isn't frothy water just like really similar to beer?
I think it says that it was a used as a stand-in for beer on a lot of TV shows.
Okay, because, yeah, that's the joke, is frothy mugs of water.
Yeah.
An anime would come over to the States, and they would freaking just paint over the cells of mugs of beer so that they were bluish or clear instead of amber.
Here. Thanks. Hey, Jill. I'm gonna need some ice. Ah, boss. Boss? Oh, I know you. Thank you! Thank you! Hey, nice to see you're fine. I'm more than fine. I'm alive. I'm here. I avoided my biggest mistake in life thanks to your timely intervention. I don't know what overcame me. I just felt like everything was shouting. I couldn't stop the shouting, so I just felt like, thank you! Don't even mention it. I just did what I felt was right. Jill, ice please. Right. Are you alright? Did you seek help? I know a couple of people that could help you. Don't worry, I'm perfectly fine. I've gone to a therapist a couple of times, but he says I'm okay. Something overcame me, but you intervened and I don't know what to say. You already said thank you. Seeing that you're fine is more than enough for me. I should have come to thank you earlier. I owed you that at least. Don't worry. Just go out and be happy. You have a second chance, so use it as best you can. I will. I'll be leaving. Happy New Year, Jill, and thank you again. Please come again. So, a couple of weeks ago I read some news about a woman saving a suicidal girl, catching her midair. Would you know something about that, boss? Maybe, maybe not. Whoever it was probably just did it because it was the right thing to do. Feeling lonely? That voice.
Catching her in midair. It's really bad.
Hey, Joe! Long time no see! Really long time no see. Seriously, it feels like it's been over a year since I last saw you. I was planning on visiting you last week, but things were pretty heavy back then. So I just waited in the background until the tension wore off a bit. Earth to Joe, I'm talking to you here. If I ignore her, she'll leave. She just glitched out.
No signal.
I'm not an unfathomable sense of dread. You can't just ignore me, you know. Julianne Stingray, I'm talking to you.
That's her full name.
Calm down. Don't fall for her taunts. How did she know my full name, though? I thought your full name was Julianne Natalie Stingray. Or did you legally remove the Natalie? Never mind that. Is she reading my thoughts? Yeah, I mean, they're kind of written in the middle of the screen. Hard not to see them, actually. Alright, that's it. I'm going crazy. That's such a self-centered way to see the world. You assume that you're crazy because you can't accept that this world could be weirder than you think. This world is amazing because of the things you just can't explain. And just because only you experience something doesn't mean it's a lie or that you're crazy. I mean, just look at ASMR. No, I'm pretty sure that's what a crazy person would say in this scenario. You acknowledged me! Shit. It's good. I'm not serving you anything. What? Why? Last time you came, I had to clean the drinks I served you off the floor. Don't be like that. The drinks were also paid for with my money. I don't know how you did it, but that set any and all plans I had for the rest of the week off balance. I was going to buy some curry with the money I had to put up for those drinks. Dog duty done. I know we have slow days, but for God's sake. You okay? You look angry. I'm fine. Good job out there. I'm back. Ah, boss, what happened? Meeting cut short. At least I drank the the bottles. Are you okay? You look distraught. I'm fine. So they really can't see you. I mean, you're right in front of them. And you're wearing jeans under a skirt.
Oh-ho! That's who the Willem cosplayer was seeing.
Why? Just... why? To annoy people, of course. Is that a new trend? What does she think she's doing? Everyone feels like it's not quite right. Everyone thinks they should call you out. But they can't bring themselves to do it because it's not that wrong. There are things like spats, after all. It's uncannily right. Not all that wrong. It's uncannily right. Not all that wrong. And they can't stop staring. Not like anyone other than me could see it, though. They could see it if they wanted to. Jill, you're making an awful lot of faces there. You okay? Yeah, just remembering stuff. Man, I miss not being crazy. Boss, I'm leaving early today. And you stay here. Who stays where? Crap, did I just... You have to be the first person... You have to be the first person I've met who mixes their inner and outer voice. I thought I saw one of the dogs near the counter. Sorry. Oh, okay. Can I leave a bit earlier today? Sure, thanks for taking care of the fort. What about me? You haven't left yet. I'll thank you when you leave. That's not what I... Whatever. Aww. Jill just watched Night of the ID Snatchers. Buying a poster of it will prevent her from getting too distracted. There are cats in heat outside. I'd have blue balls if I still had any. Looking at the poster, Jill managed to get Gabby off her mind, even if for just a little bit. Yuri new season. It's finally here. I can't believe I'm alive for this day. Thank you, based God. All boards report in. What other boards, you idiot? Nice, more stupid Moe blobs. YY gets new season, but the actual best YY is still up in the air. My internet service gets cut off tomorrow because I can't afford it anymore. Wake me up! Get a job, you stupid NEET. Oh god, here we go. Prepare hot cocoa, sit in comfy couch, put on my favorite Mega Christmas sweater, see snow falling outside, turn on the heater, get my blanket, watch Glorious YY, and fall asleep when it ends. I am the comfy. I wish I was as comfy. Have work tomorrow. Enjoy the Urus for me, Danger You. Sounds cute. For nerds, maybe. Taylor the Brain, tired of name change requests. A couple of weeks ago, we wrote about Taylor, one of the brains from the Soul Anima project. One of the highlights from the interview was that was unfortunately stripped from the finished version, was a stray comment about how many people ask Taylor to change their name to Brian on a regular basis. I know people try to be funny, but I won't change my name for a punchline, Taylor told the AE team. I like the name Taylor, and there's nothing wrong with Brian. I just won't be part of the joke. My life is worth more than that. Taylor is currently looking at their chances at becoming a senator in the upcoming electoral season. Taylor!
Senator Brain in a jar. Do you like neurons, Senator?
Parliament discusses anime influence. During an unusual meeting held at Parliament today, delegates discussed the effects of anime on the population. It's nothing but filth! Trash! A representative for the Workers' Party yelled during the meeting. If I could choke every single writer and animator out there, I'd do it. I'd choke them with my own enhanced hands. Several anime studio heads have responded to the news. I think they would ban it if it wasn't bringing so much money into the local market, Yamake, a producer, told the Augmented Eye during a phone interview. I do agree that anime is trash, but I'll save the genre. You can trust me. Ah yes, important topics and all. Anime was a mistake. Biker gang arrested after vandalism during protests. The members of one of the largest biker gangs in the Motor City sector were arrested after the group's leader and her entourage were found at the site of a protest last Friday. Their leader, commonly known in the streets as Christine Love, declared to the press that they were unjustly arrested and that her gang was only there to defend protesters from the White Knights. They're afraid of us. They know they can't take us down in the streets, so they used protesters as a shield, and we had no option but to surrender, Love told AE during a phone conversation. They're currently detained and waiting for trial. The formal charges are unknown so far. Isn't she a game developer? She's many things. Tuesday, December 27th. Good evening. Hey, Jill. Let's have a New Year's party this Saturday. Isn't that a bit soon? Why? Did someone famous get killed at a New Year's party? No, I mean... Never mind. Sure, I'm in for it. Great! And Gil? He's coming too. I mean, it's not like he has anything else to do. Hey. No, I mean, where is he? He was escorting a client of his to the station. He should be back any second now. Back. See? So, you coming to the New Year's party too, Gil? It's not like I have anything else to do, so... I told you. We're depressing people. Oh yeah, the kid from the other day, Gabby I think you called her, asked me to give you this. I believe it's a note. A note? Gabby? Well, let's see. First of all, I want to apologize for my behavior before. I was still hurt by my sister's death, and it wasn't fair to take out all the stress on you, let alone put the blame on you. And so, it feels weird to ask this of you after how I treated you, but I really want to talk to you. I want to catch up, to chat for a while, to do what you were doing with me before I lashed out. I want to understand this freedom you talked about, the fear that drove you to a fight with my sister. I'll go back to the bar on the 31st. I won't take much of your time. If you don't want to see me after all that, I'll understand. But please, I really want to talk to you. Gabby. Wow, that girl has a big vocabulary. She was always a smart one. The 31st is written in different handwriting. Oh yeah, she asked me when you would be here and relatively free, so I told her about the party. I also assumed you'd say yes to the party, which might not have been the best idea now that I think about it. Boss, I'm having second thoughts about coming to the party. What? Why? Because I really don't want to face Gabby again. Now it's coming back to me. And what drove me to never go back and apologize after all these years? Fear and shame. Shame because I know I made a hideously stupid mistake, and it's painful to face your mistakes. And fear of what they might say. With Lenore, we never broke up formally, so I was always afraid that if we were to meet again, she'd break up with me. And I don't want Gabby to tell me that she hates me to my face. Lenore was in the right to break up with me, and Gabby is in the right to hate me. But I don't want her to. Maybe if I never see her again, she'll never tell me that, and... Jill, you idiot! Eh? You're thinking backwards. Didn't the letter say she wanted to understand you? If you bail out on this, she will hate you. Not only that, but you're getting a new chance here. Do you want to live the rest of your life running from another memory? Didn't you just say to Armitage that you hated feeling like that? Armitage?
Why does she keep calling
Kitty
her
hacker.
that?
Alma, right. I don't know what happened when you fought with that girl's sister. But now you have a chance to make amends. And not only... One day of fear, or a lifetime filled with regret. Which one do you pick? Yeah, you're right. I hated feeling like that. I won't run away this time. Good, because I would have gone to your apartment and dragged you out of there if need be. Hey, boss? Thanks. That's what friends are for. Yeah. Anyways, let's start the day. Alright.
Nighttime maneuvers. That sounds doity.
Working on my night moves. Jumping in an L shape. I know that. Taking that in an entirely different direction. Time to mix drinks and change lives. Seriously, though, it's the second note that has stirred such feelings in me. Second one? 2 weeks ago, I got another note in the mail. This one is from Lenore. Was that the envelope you took away from me in a panic? Yup. You haven't opened it? Why not open it with Gabby? You're facing one fear, might as well face the other. Maybe. Don't push her, Chief. I'm not. I just know she's capable of doing all that. I'll go secure stuff for the party. Call me if you need anything. Keep it up, Jill. Thanks. Happy holidays! Someone's happy. We held a party for the staff and their children. You should have seen the faces of those kids receiving gifts. Nabbing that Santa suit at the last minute the other day was totally worth it. Santa dresses seem to have been popular this year. I heard they were sold out in most places. There was this weird shortage of Santa suits, but luck was on my side this year. Sorry for that outburst. Why? You looked so happy, I felt happy too. You shouldn't hide your happiness. Anyway, can you get me a cobalt velvet, please? Sure.
those earwings.
Here. Thanks. Are you meeting with Say today? She should be here in a bit. She told me she wanted to drink here, and since I was coming here too. Sadly, I can't stay for long. I have some errands to run. How has she been lately? She's better. Her wounds have been healing really nicely. If only she stopped scratching at her bandages so often. What about her eye? Eye? Oh, hers. Sorry. It'll take longer to heal, but as long as it's kept clean, there should be no problem. But to be honest, I'm more worried about her emotional wounds. She doesn't show it, but she's had depressive bouts from time to time. And who can blame her? Her life changed completely. The job she loved no longer exists. She was used as a disposable pawn in the whole bank affair. I'm afraid it will all make her go back to her old ways. Old ways? There was a rough spot when Say was a teen. Her mom's clinic was about to close. Then her biological father, who was an asshole, showed up, and the teachers at her school didn't help. Say is not a slow learner by any means, but her way of learning stuff is different. She needs equivalences to things she knows. You need to get a bit in her mindset. Once you get this, she's a fast learner, but schools don't have that kind of patience. They basically branded her a failure. She even dropped out. I would have suggested a special course somewhere else, but that would have offended her. She's always been against being labeled as special or different. Anyway, Say was totally different during that period. Foul-mouthed, short-fused, always frowning, the total opposite of how she is nowadays. From time to time, I see that old look across her face, and it scares me. You're comparing her to her teen self, though. People mature. Maybe she'll show signs from time to time, but I bet Say knows better than to go back to that. I hope so. Give me something cold and sweet, will you? Sure. Here. Thanks. This is the kind of stuff Say asks for, you know? Now that you mention it. So, I take it Say's family situation isn't exactly fine and dandy, huh? It's a mess they've tried to fix over time, and I'm glad to say they've actually done it. Say's mom had a really abusive relationship with Say's biological father. Sadly, like many women in that situation, she just tried to justify his actions. But apparently things got nasty when Say's mom, Miss Emmy, got pregnant. At that point she had an epiphany, one could say. She didn't want that guy to raise her child, so she finally sought help. Things weren't so easy, though. Before the authorities could take him away, Miss Emmy got a serious beating from him. She still uses a cane to walk, thanks to that. She moved here, Say was born. She started her veterinary clinic. So did he come back? He was drunk and couldn't find any drugs, so he made it to the city. He caused a ruckus for a couple of days until Say managed to scare him off. How? She beat him to near death, 3 times. Sorry, I shouldn't laugh, but... Oh, don't worry, I laughed too. The dramatic irony there is delicious. I've been wondering, can you really be so calm in the lower parts of the city? I mean, the streets are not exactly safe. And a cat boomer is sure to become a target. Well, I have my security staff with me at all times, so there's no problem. Besides, this part of the city is comfier. Come again? Sure, Uptown is cleaner and maybe more secure, but it's also too sterile. Around here, you can actually feel the warmth of the people. You feel there are people living. I especially like going to a busy food stand. I feel a warmth there that Uptown doesn't have. It's also easier to talk to people. You finally came. Welcome. If you try to talk to someone in the upper part of the city, they either shrug you off or flat out ignore you. People around here are a bit wary, but they're also more likely to talk to you. Not that things aren't nice there, though. Can I get you something? I feel like having a beer. Make that 2. But I just want 1. I'm asking for 1 for me, adding 1 to your order. Oh, that, right. Here. Thank you. Thanks. Say, you should have seen the kids after you left. They were all playing with the toys you picked. You nailed it again this year. They were all asking, "Where's Say? Where's Say?" Why do they call you just Say when they call me Auntie Stella? I don't look that old. Don't worry, they still like you. Sorry I had to leave, but Mom worked overtime that night and I couldn't leave her alone. What happened? Well, there were fireworks and some dog thought it'd be safe to hide in a jar. The little guy managed to get his head and a paw inside before getting stuck. And it was plastic, so they couldn't just try to break it. That's messy. She needed someone to hold the dog while she worked. Poor fella was scared. Well, I'm out. Oh yeah, we'll have a New Year's party this Saturday if you want to come. Sure, it's better than depressing myself with my dad's woes about the next fiscal year. I'll be here. Bye, Jill. Bye, Say. Careful. Meow. Bless you.
In my eyes.
What happened?
I crunched down on pepperoncini, and the back and throat spice down made for a little bit of a flow, and the resulting upper tickle resulted in the sneezing.
Right. I heard the sneeze. Also, I think Rim, you might want more brushes.
And the lacrimal ducts, the drain duct is kind of connected to the nasal pharyngeal zone. I squirted a tiny amount of capsaicin oil up onto my cornea.
Oh dear.
It only stings a little because there wasn't much. But
yeah.
Wow, it's impressive.
Oh. Right, I need to take my pills. I haven't done that today. Please come again. You want to come too? I'd love to. I'll also make up for not coming last time. How was the party? Pretty nice. We played Truth or Dare. Had some fun, broke some glasses, ate lots and lots of food. Seriously, looking back, the amount of food was ridiculous compared to the number of people who were there. Better leftovers than left hanging, don't you think? Yeah. Can I get you something? Let's try something classy. Okay. Something classy. Yep, this is the thing. Stella came in quite cheery about Sunday. Is Sunday? Oh yeah! Well, you know, birthday is actually the 25th. Really? Here's a weird story from when she was a kid. She heard Mega Santa's story, and somehow she got it into her head that by being born on the 25th, she was the spiritual reincarnation of the original Santa. That made her start giving out gifts like crazy. She got over it, but the gifting stuck to her. Spiritual reincarnation? Well, the story says the Redmond family destroyed Santa's spirit. And that Mega Santa was reborn as a manifestation of the Christmas spirit. She thought she was the old Santa spirit in a new body. That girl was delusional as a kid. Huh. Speaking of things you did when you were young, Stella mentioned she's worried about you going back to your old ways. Something about a rough period where you were angry or something. Oh, that. It's sweet that she's worried. But I won't go back to those days just like that, though. Even if I face the same situation, I'm more mature, you know? I'm not a teen anymore. Expected as much. Told her as much. Hey, can you get me something bubbly? Sure. Something bubbly for a bubbly girl. Here. Bubbly, bubbly. Hey, Jill. This might seem a bit random, but... do you remember the first time I came here? Yeah, you're the second White Knight I've served. I remember. Why? Precisely because of that. I've been meaning to ask you about that story. How was your other experience with a White Knight? If I had to put it simply, the total opposite of you. Oh? She came here as part of her work, looking for information on some case. I went through the motions, offering her a drink and all that, but she came only for her job. At first I thought she was just another private eye, but she showed me her badge and all. What kind of case was it? I wouldn't know. She never told me, but she asked if I saw some people. She got pretty intense when I told her I had no idea who she was talking about. I suggested she ask the vending machines outside, and they told her the suspect climbed on them. She got her info and she left. Pretty professional, if a bit intimidating. She seemed personally invested in the case, though. The way she lost her cool was suspicious. You seem to be pretty good at reading people, Jill. It makes me kind of jealous. Nah, I'm not good at that. It's just a coincidence that I noticed it. But you noticed it. I'm not good at reading people. Even if the cue was thrown in my face, I wouldn't be able to see it. I'm sure you can compensate with another skill. Any particular reason you asked me about that event? Not really. I just found the fact that I was the only other White Knight you've served weird. I mean, really? Just two? Weird, I know. I've spent most of my life with almost no interactions with White Knights until I met you. It means you've had a nice life, then. That sounded creepier than I thought. A bit, yeah. Well, I'm done for today. Thanks, Jill. Please come again. I'll go take my break, Gil. Sure. I wonder if I left food for 4. Meow.
There's plenty of food for you, Remy.
Mm-hmm. Here.
What are you whining about?
Wait.
Sounds like there's stuff going on outside.
Okay, I'm Dorothy. You won't get through the bar anytime soon. You can stop walking. Do you want back there, Remy? I can't imagine why you would want back there, but...
Security check.
Security check. Security cat.
Delicious bowl of security checks.
Honey. Oh, hey! It's Julianne on the TV.
Oh no! That won't distract Jill at all.
You want something? The usual, I guess. The usual.
Dorothy seems incredibly distracted.
Mm-hmm.
She doesn't get weird messages.
Here. This is nice. 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 Nice? Okay, you're freaking me out. What's up with you? Hey, honey. How do you know what's real? How so? I mean, how do you know if what you see is an actual thing? How can you tell if what you see around you is actually happening? What tells you everything is not actually a fabrication? What tells me I'm not just a simulation in a computer?
There's a surprisingly high chance our real world is a simulation, Dorothy.
And those ponderings brought you to the bar? What? Oh, I'm in the bar. Am I? Dorothy? So you're having a solipsistic crisis of sorts? Solip what? Solipsism, the theory that the self is the only thing that can be known to exist. See? That's another thing right there, that word. Solipsism. What does it even mean? Where the hell did it come from? Well, solus means alone and ipse means self. Yes, but how did it come to be? Do you expect me to believe that a lot of people just randomly decided to make noises and decide, hey, let's make this noise mean this? It doesn't make sense. Words don't make sense. I've been repeating words for a long time and they've stopped making sense. Why? Calm down. That's just semantic satiation. Stop making up words, honey. Didn't I tell you to stop making up animals?
Puma!
Hey, Griff, choop a thingy. How about it? I like it. It's got a ring to it. And then there's this counter. How can I be sure the counter is really here? It is. Please stop tapping it. Hold on, just making sure. I should make her a drink. At the very least, I'll have something to throw at her. More piano women. Stop tapping the counter so much. I'm this close to throwing this at your face. Sorry. So let's start from the beginning. Since when did you have this existential crisis? Since earlier today, I think. I was remembering the good times I had with my guardian. But I don't know. It was all too sudden. I was thinking about everything that happened from a week ago until now. How much fun I was having, how much I loved everyone around me. And out of nowhere, the thoughts started piling up in my mind. What is love? What is fun? Are those feelings real? Is all of that real? Am I real? What tells me I'm actually in a body? What if I'm just some computer somewhere thinking it has a body? What if I'm just a human girl in a comatose dream? What tells me that you're real? Eh? For all I know, I might just be a figment of someone's imagination. Or even just an AI simulation in some computer that thinks it's human. I've been there, Dorothy. That existential doubt and crisis, that uncertainty about whether or not things are real. It was a couple of months only, but I remember having panic attacks and scratching my arm to feel something. But the panic attack gave me a rush of adrenaline, so I couldn't feel the scratch and the fear got worse. What did you do to get over it? Oddly enough, I read a book. The Last Rain in the World, one of my favorites. At one point I cried with the book and I realized I was crying over fake things, a story and its characters. I didn't care less for them because they were fake. Why not think of reality like that too? Even if I'm a figment of someone's imagination, I'd still care about you. That's what I told myself, at least. It wasn't immediate, but that focus helped me. I like it. Hey, can I take this drink? I made it for you. Thanks. Okay, then. Phew! Why did you throw it on your head? To feel something you made. And? It burns and itches a bit. I'll get you a towel. Delivery for Dana's... Oh, I've been here before. Mr. Mario, welcome back. I have a delivery for Dana Zane. Who's that? She's my boss. I'll get it for her. Right, sign here, please. It's a big package. I wonder what's inside. You should open it. If it's something perishable, maybe it'll need to be refrigerated. Let's see. It's a wiener.
In a box.
A really big wiener. Hey, honey. The big package had a big wiener inside. What will your boss do with such a thing? I don't know how she'll cook it. Perhaps she'll chop it?
Oh boy!
Honey. Seems the wiener is too big to eat correctly. Stop! Maybe you could prepare some right now? What do you say, honey? Do you want some of your boss's wiener? Seriously, Jill? She's the one making the jokes. And you're the one trying not to laugh too hard at them.
She's the one whose head smells like booze.
Anyway, we all know if we dare cook this without her permission, she'll hang us upside down. She'll hang me upside down. Hey, Jacket Boy, what's your name? I'm Mario. Come on, Mario. I'll buy you a drink. You might have another delivery, you know. This is the last one, actually. I'll accept your offer. I'll have a sunshine cloud. And you? I'm fine.
Yeah, she has a piano woman hat. That still looks so goofy. The swirly eyes. Jointed hearts, robot arms. Oh boy.
Here. Thanks. Hey, call me Dorothy. You can also call me Darling for the right amount. Yeah, Dorothy. Why did you buy me a drink? Just to let you know, I don't swing that way. What way, Lilum? Yeah, I'm a man's man. I like men, okay? Not that there's anything wrong with liking women, but... Oh, don't worry. I wasn't hitting on you. I was thanking you. Thanking me? Your package let me see Honey here laughing like an idiot. It's easier than you think. That made me happy, and I don't know, it fit with what she was telling me earlier. I'm more calm than when I entered. I'm glad to help, I guess. Well, duty calls. Bye, Mario. Bye, John. Bye, Honey. Enjoy your big wiener. Out with you. She seems like a nice girl. I don't mean for it to sound like I... Oops. I get it. Don't worry, you like guys, it's clear. Speaking of, you like motorcycles, don't you? I do, yeah. Have you been to the Motor District? I spend all of my free time in the Motor District, actually. Why? Is it true what they say about all the illegal races going on there? You're not a cop, are you? You have to tell me if you're a cop. It doesn't actually say that, but... As far as I remember, no. Oh no, sleeper cop. Dun dun dun. She's saying as far as she remembers, she's not a cop.
Ah!
So my brain's just going like the Manchurian Cop. Well, I mean, there are illegal races, but there's also a semi-legal league going on there. Semi-legal? The authorities acknowledge that there's races going on. They don't know what goes on in them, however. Modified engines, casualties, substance abuse. The illegal ones end up being safer in the end. Huh. Have you heard about a biker called Christine Love? Ms. Love, of course! Everyone knows who she is. What about her? Is her gang as dangerous as they say? I don't know. Nobody knows. Excuse me? They look intimidating enough, but truth is that nobody has faced them directly. Moreover, nobody wants to be the one that got beaten to a pulp if they turn out to be what they seem. So her gang is just there, menacingly doing their own thing, not bothering anyone. Oh. Do you want anything else? I'll have a piano man. Alright. Here. Yeah, this is nice. This'll sound weird, but do you believe in replibots? Replibots? There's the belief that some Lilim out there are designed to perfectly replicate a particular human. That someone or something replaces those humans with such Lilim. Thus they call them replibots. You know a lot about this. I don't, it's in most magazines nowadays. Well, it's the first time I've heard of it. What about it? On my way here, I almost ran over my neighbor. He just showed up in the middle of the street. And I say almost because he moved really quickly out of the way. Then I went to deliver a package and somehow my neighbor was there. Almost immediately after the whole thing. And he was there the whole time. Maybe it was someone that looked like him. He had the same looks, clothes, and mannerisms. Trust me, you know a perfect replica when you see one. And you saw the kid Lilim here. They could easily pass off as humans. There are even Lilim idol singers nowadays whose voices can pass off as human. They could be passing off as humans under our very own noses, replacing us little by little. At this point in time, I really doubt it. Lilim behavior is a bit different. You can easily tell someone's a Lilim because they seem... how do I put this? They don't care about risk and danger as much as we do. They treat risks with a lot more leniency. Still, be careful. Keep an eye out for uncanny doppelgangers. I'm leaving. Thanks for everything. Please come again. What's your take on the Replibot thing? Do you believe in them? Do you? Not really, but I asked you first. When I was in high school, I had this irrational fear of aliens. I was paranoid that they would come. What would I do then? I remember I lost lots of sleep because of it. That doesn't answer my question. Let me finish. After many months of fear, I reached a conclusion that might as well apply here. It's useless to be afraid. I'm but a simple woman. I wouldn't be able to do shit against them. So I'd rather live without being afraid. Because the memories of not being afraid will be my only solace when the when the nebulae crabs invades. I mean, when the replibots come. Jill, are you still afraid of aliens? What part of it's useless to be afraid didn't you catch? Right. Back! Did anything happen? I discovered I have the sense of humor of an 8-year-old. Did anything new happen? Hey. They brought you a package. Ah, yes, my curated wiener. It's a gift from my folks. It was delayed in customs, but here it is. You guys want some of it? That's a new one. Have some pocket money. I'm out of excuses. Oh, need 10,000 by the 30th. Jill wonders if Maneki Nekos actually bring luck. Buy one to prevent her from getting too distracted. Have a very nice day. You've been chuckling since yesterday. Pfft, wiener. They say these bring luck, but its paw is broken, so I wouldn't trust him. Okay. And anyway, that's the end of one day and the start of the next. That seems like a good place to stop for today. Thanks for watching. I'll be back tomorrow night at 9 p.m. for Throne of Games, where I'll be continuing 2 Point Hospital. Then Monday and all week at 3 p.m. Eastern, I'll be streaming more of this. I have no idea how much is left. It might not last all week, or maybe it will. So yeah. Oh, I should save. Saving is important. So yeah. Thanks again, and I hope to see you next time. Later, everybody.